Hello everyone, this is teacher Joanna again, and for tonight's lesson, we're gonna have one of the grammar question in civil service exam. Okay, I actually grabbed this question on Facebook. I just saw it this morning, and I don't worry, I asked permission from the person who posted it. Okay, so this is the question: which of the following sentences is grammatically correct? As you can see here, the focus is actually sentence analyses. Okay, and this is actually one of the most difficult questions, of course, in a grammar exam since you have to read and analyze every sentence, okay? So the first one is A, the police is coming. B, give this shirt to whoever likes it. C, I visited my grandmother last weekend. D, I enjoyed at the party last night. And E, my brother can play guitar well. Okay, so that is our focus for tonight. Now, in our lesson for tonight, we're not just gonna answer the question, okay? We're not just gonna choose the correct answer, but we're gonna study each sentence, okay? In the choices. Okay, in that way, you can remember the rule and you can actually know which one is correct and which one is wrong. And next time, if you're gonna encounter the same questions or same sentences, you can apply what you have learned. Okay, so let's study about that. Okay, let's see. First, think of the answer. Okay, we're gonna choose the answer later on. Okay. Anyway, as we discuss this one, we're gonna know what the answer is. Okay, so let's start first with the police is coming. Right? Okay, let's start with a sentence, okay? So for letter A, let's see if this is grammatically correct, okay? For this sentence, what is the subject? The subject is actually the police, okay? And you have to remember this, the police is a plural subject. Okay, don't forget that, okay? So of course, if that is a plural subject, we have to use the plural form of the verb, okay? So, of course, if that is a be verb, the plural form is are, not is, okay? And of course, if that is an action word, the plural form is the base form of the verb. Okay, let's have an example, right? Example sentences, okay? So, number one, okay, the police, okay, are coming, okay? And then the next one, the police, okay, the police catch bad people. Okay? Now, you cannot use the police as a singular noun. In case you want to use the singular form of that, you can actually use policeman, policewoman, or just police officer if you don't want to talk about the gender. Okay, so policewoman or simply police officer. But the police is considered a plural noun. Okay, so in that case, you cannot use is plus a plural noun. Therefore, choice letter A is actually incorrect. Remember that we have to focus on the correct sentence, and that is the thing that we have to find out for today. Okay? So let's focus on that. Now, for tonight, okay, let's go to sentence number two letter C first. Okay, we're gonna skip this part. Probably you know why we skip it. Okay, let's talk first about letter C. Okay, now for letter C, okay, as you can see there, we have the subject I. Okay, and then we have the helping verb have. That's a helping verb, and we have the main verb visited. So have visited is our verb, and we have the object my grandmother or grandmother as the main object, okay? And we also have the time expression last weekend, okay? Now, this one is a time expression. Remember that this is a time expression for simple past tense, okay? In my last video, we talked about the difference between simple past and present perfect tense, okay? So if you have questions about the difference, feel free to visit the previous video, okay, for you to know. Now for this one, last weekend, okay, remember that it's only for simple past. Since this is in present perfect tense, we cannot combine a present perfect tense form of the verb and the simple past time expression. So instead, if you want to use that, I can just say I visited my grandmother last weekend. Okay? And if you want to use the present perfect tense, okay, you cannot use the time expression like what I've said. So you can just say, I have visited my grandmother. Okay, so either of the two, but you cannot really combine them. Therefore, letter C is grammatically incorrect. Okay, don't forget that. Now, let's move on to our next sentence. Okay, I enjoyed at the party last night. Okay, you have to be careful with this as well. Okay, yeah, this one is another grammar topic. Okay, so for this case, the subject is also like I, and then we have the verb enjoyed. Okay, and we have a preposition here, okay? We have to be careful with prepositions. Later on, I'm going to have a specific video for prepositions since prepositions are the most difficult ones, okay? But let's talk about first verbs, okay? There are basically two kinds of verbs. We have the action and the non-action verbs. But for now, we're going to talk about like action verbs, okay? And we will focus on the two kinds of action verbs, which are transitive and intransitive verb, okay? What is the difference between the two? Transitive verbs requires an object in the sentence, okay? So if there's no object, that one or the sentence is incomplete. For example, I bought a pen, right? The subject is I and the verb is actually like bought. Okay, and we have the object pen. Okay, if we remove pen, the sentence is incomplete. It's not even considered a sentence if I just say I bought. Okay, now for intransitive verb, of course, it has no object. You cannot put an object for that one. Let's have an example. I walked, right? So in that case, we have the subject and then we have the intransitive verb. We cannot say like I walked Germain. We cannot say that, okay? We cannot just include a subject or an object for that one, okay? The only part of speech that we can add after the sentence pattern after SVO is an adverb. So if we're gonna put an adverb, it's just okay, right? So you can say that. For example, I'm gonna make it like longer. I bought a pen yesterday. I can include that one. It's an adverb of place. And then here, I walked fast yesterday. I even put two adverbs there, fast and yesterday. Okay? Right? Now, let us check first. Remember that if that is VT transitive, we need an object. If that is intransitive, we don't need to have any object. But how can we know if a verb is transitive or intransitive? Okay, focus on this one. This is not 100%. This is just one of the options that you can use because there are a lot of special verbs in the English language, right? You can know if the verb is transitive or VT if you can extend the verb by asking who or what. Okay, what do I mean? For example, I, let's use the word I bring, okay? Or I brought, I bring, okay? Let's try to extend it. I bring my sister. Is it correct? Yeah, it is grammatically correct. Very good. So it's okay, right? What about if I say, like, I bring money, right? Money answers the question what? My sister answers the question who. Is it okay? Yes, that is actually grammatically correct. So if either of the two or both can be extended using who or what, that is a transitive verb. Okay? Yeah, don't forget that. Now, in case you cannot extend it using what or who, either of the two, okay? It's actually an intransitive verb or VI. Let us try, okay? So you cannot extend it using who, okay? And you cannot extend that using what, that is VI, okay? For example, I jumped, right? If I want to extend that using who, I jumped Jermaine. Is it okay? And unless we put a preposition to actually like convert that, right? Which we're gonna study later on. Or you can actually like check the first my first video about I went to school and I went home. The explanation for prepositions are also there. Okay, the explanations are also there. So we cannot extend that, right? And I jumped the window. right? Unless we put a preposition, this is actually grammatically incorrect. So therefore, jump is VI and bring is VT. Okay? Let us try. For example, the word die. Wow, such a negative verb anyway. Right. Is it VI or VT? Let's try to extend. I die him. Ink, of course, is not right. I die room. It's not right as well. So this is VI. However, like what I've said, there are a lot of special verbs actually. Okay, sometimes the verbs can be both VI and VT. For example, the word like um I I drink, right? Okay, let's try to extend it. I drink Germain. Is it okay? Of course not. I cannot drink a person. But I drink what? For example, I drink apple juice. Okay, so in that case, of course, that is grammatically correct. So if either of the two can be used to extend the sentence, like what I've said, that is VT. However, for this case, okay, drink can be both VI and VT. That is a special verb. That's why, like what I've said, it's not 100% like this rule is not 100%. I mean like the strategy that we used a while ago, like extending. So we still have to be familiar with verbs. Okay, so with more verbs. But let's talk about this one, enjoyed. Okay, let's try to check. Okay, if enjoy is actually VI or VT. Okay, so enjoy, right? So if that is enjoy, right? Okay, let's check. I enjoy, for example, I enjoy Gong Yu. Gong Yu is an actor, right? Is it okay? Yeah, could be, right? I enjoy Gong Yu. I enjoy watching him, for example, right? Okay, or I can say like I enjoy the movie, right? So in that case, that is what? VI or VT? VT, okay? Remember that after VT, the next part should be an object. And objects are just, remember this, objects are only answerable by who or what. Okay, don't forget that, okay? So who and what only. Let's have an example, okay? I teach who? I teach Jermaine. Right? Jermaine, of course, answers who? I teach grammar. Grammar answers what? Okay? Right? So only who and what and Jermaine and grammar are both nouns. Okay? And remember that, okay? Objects can only be nouns, pronouns, gerunds, infinitive, and noun clauses, which we're going to study again later on. Okay? And okay, whenever you put a preposition to a noun, automatically you can convert that into a preposition. Okay? Like in the sentence, I went to school, right? I, and this is VI, school is a noun, but if you add a preposition to a noun, you automatically converted school into an adverb, which is the school. Okay? Like what I've said, check the first video, the explanation, the detailed explanation of this is there. Let's go back to our sentence a while ago, right? So for this case, we have I enjoyed at the party. Like what I've said, enjoyed is VT. If that is VT, can we have a preposition here? No, right? Because we need to have an object, and the object is a party. Therefore, we have to omit our preposition at. Okay, so this one is incorrect. Okay, the correct sentence would be I enjoyed the party last night. Okay, so that's it, right? Therefore, our option letter D is grammatically incorrect. Okay, now let's move on to our next part. My brother can play guitar well. Is this grammatically correct? Okay, let's see. Okay, so is it grammatically correct? Let's see if that is really correct. Okay, let's focus on that one, right? Remember this, whenever we talk about the word play, okay, the verb play plus a musical instrument, okay, the article da should always be used. Don't forget that. Any musical instrument with the word play should have the article da. Okay, for example, I play the violin. I play the piano. It always has to have the. Okay? Right, don't forget that. So, yeah, okay, the, okay, play plus the musical instrument, okay? That's always the pattern. I play the guitar. I play the violin, I play the piano, okay? But it's only with the word play. If the verb is different, you can use other determiners since guitar is a singular noun. So you can say like, I will buy a guitar later. As you can see here, I use a. But if you're gonna use like play, it's always with the article the. Okay? So let's go back to our example or our option letter E. Is it correct? Wrong, because there should be an article here. Okay, so don't forget that here, the mistake is actually like our verb is, it should be are, and then here, okay, it's actually our verb, okay, have visited, it should be visited. The answer is visited. I have visited is wrong. And here, at should be removed. And then here, there should be imaginary the. Okay? Or there should be the, not imaginary. Shouldn't be imaginary. Now let's go back to our last option. Of course, this is the last one. So this is our answer. Now, why is it the answer? Many people are actually confused. They say that this is wrong because of whoever. Okay, so let's talk about first the difference between whoever and whomever. Okay, and let's see if that is grammatically correct. Okay, so before that, let's study first the difference between who and whom. Okay, now remember this. Okay, I'll write two sentences first and let's see what the difference is. Okay, the man who loves me, okay, is Zermain, right? And then the second sentence is the man whom I love is Germain. Okay, so for this case, we have the subject, the man, okay, and then we have the verb is, and then we have the complement Germain, right? So the man and Germain are actually the same, right? And who loves me is actually like an adjective clause describing the man. Whose man I am talking about? The man who loves me. And as you can see here, okay, some many people actually discuss who and whom by saying that who is subjective, whom is subjective, but that would be confusing. That's not wrong. That's correct, okay? But this is an easier way for you to know which one to be used. Okay, remember this. If the next word after the relative pronoun who or whom, okay, is a verb, okay, only who can be used. You cannot use, okay, you cannot use whom. Okay, that's the rule. Okay, or that's the hint. Okay, but for this case, as you can see there is actually like whom plus the subject plus the verb, right? Okay, so in this case, whom is used, okay? So for this case, you cannot say like whom plus verb. It's a no-no, right? Okay, but in this case, if there's a subject, you can also use like who. Don't forget that, okay? Right, so who plus subject plus verb, I can also say the man who I love is Jermaine, okay? However, you have to be careful if there is a phrasal verb inside the clause, you cannot use that. For example, the man whom I talk with is a phrasal verb, is Jermaine. In this case, I cannot use who. Okay, instead, I can just use, okay, whom for this one. Okay, not whom. But if there is no phrasal verb, who and whom can be used. You can even remove the relative pronoun. I can just say like the man I love is Jermaine. But for the first one, I cannot say the man loves me is Jermaine. No. If there's a subject, you can remove that. Okay? So that's the thing. Now let's talk about whoever and whomever. Okay? Right? So whomever and whoever. Right? Some people say that whomever can be substituted by him and whoever can be substituted by he or she or him her for this one. That's correct. Okay, for example, I will meet, okay, whomever, right? Because it is him, right? Okay, and then whoever is here, Okay, whoever is here, and then the rest of the sentence. Okay, yeah, whoever is here will be like awarded, for example, right? So in that case, since this is actually like this can be he, therefore whoever is used. Okay, but the thing is, it becomes difficult if there is a clause after that, right? Like in our example here, after that, actually, like there is a clause, right? So that's the thing that makes it difficult, right? Okay, because if you're gonna analyze this, right? Yeah, to he likes it or to him likes it, which one is correct? Okay, so in order for you not to be confused, remember this: whoever plus verb. Okay, whomever. Okay, whomever plus actually subject. Okay, plus the subject of the sentence. Okay, don't forget that. Okay, so in that case you can easily know, right? Okay, although in some books they say they are interchangeable. Okay, however, this is actually your hint. Okay, so let's have an example, right? Give, for example, give this book to whoever needs it, right? This is a verb, so I use whoever. Some books would say whomever needs it is also okay. It's also right, okay? Yeah, however, this one is the strict rule. Okay, and then what about this one? Give this book to whomever you meet. Okay, whomever you think needs it. Okay? Yeah, so that's the thing. Don't forget that. Okay? So let's check our sentence here. As you can see here, we have to plus there is a verb. Since there's a verb, okay, whoever is actually grammatically correct here. We don't really need to use whomever. Okay? Right? But like what I've said, it's not also wrong. But for the strict rule, for the British English, okay, they use whoever plus actually like the verb. Okay, so don't forget that. I hope this helped. I have a class actually like in 1 minute. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and actually like share my grammar page. Okay, don't forget that we have to continue studying, and let's talk again. Let's talk again later on in my next video. Okay, so let's continue studying English grammar the fun and easy way. Have a good night, everyone.